Hey everyone, good evening. Welcome to another Sunday after sunset over here at Tammy's The Iberian Wind Channel. Oh my gosh, you guys, it's been a day. It's been a day. I see we've got Michelle and Melanie and Chloe in the chat. Welcome to all of you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for coming to hang out. Also, Andrea has joined the chat. Welcome in, Andrea. Glad you were here too. I see Melanie and Chloe were both getting ready for bed or heading that direction. So thank you, ladies, for being here. I appreciate it. We are going to hang out for a little bit. We're not going to hang out super late tonight. We are just going to hang out long enough to get a block done from the Wyoming State Quilt Shop block hop. No, wait. Hang on. Wyoming State Quilt Shop hop block. Something like that. Yeah, we're something like that. Laura has joined the chat. She says, "Hi Tammy and everyone. I'm jumping in to say hello. Can't stay tonight. She's on vacation with her husband. They're going to enjoy the Riverwalk in downtown Chicago in a few minutes." Oh, enjoy it for me, Laura. Absolutely. Yeah, y'all hit the thumbs up before you head out. Michelle says, "I'm listening to the thunder. It's making me sleepy. I adore a good thunderstorm." Oh, so do I. I don't get them as much out here. We don't have them as frequently out here in Wyoming, or out in Casper, Wyoming, anyway. But, oh, I love a good thunderstorm. I really do. I really do. So, pardon me a little bit. I am going to be ginger with my arm tonight. I did manage to get my tattoo. Laura says, "I'll catch the replay." Awesome, Laura. Thank you. I did get my tattoo today, so you guys see ink on my arm, and that is permanent. So it is not just Sharpie. It's not going away anytime soon. Thank goodness. It hurt enough that it better not go anywhere. So you guys will get to see this once it's healed. You know, I'll do some zoom ins if you guys want to see it. But we are going to get some stuff sewn tonight. Let me grab the machine camera and let me make sure it is focused correctly, because as of right now it is just showing you my Dr. Pepper bottles. And I say bottles because I have a fresh one ready in case I finish the one I've been working on for the last 4 hours, something like that. I have not been drinking a whole lot of anything lately. I know that's not exactly the healthiest thing, but you know, it's better than drinking alcohol. Alcohol would be worse. So we're going with the better option, right? We're going with the better option. All right. Let me move this over a little bit, get it readjusted. All right. Let's see. Go one over that. I want one, not two. Ugh, okay. There we go. We're going to zoom out just a little bit. That'll make it work. All right. Laura says, "Thank you, Chloe. It's our first vacation since we became caregivers for my parents 4 years ago." Yes, you have needed a vacation. You absolutely have, Laura. We've all been kind of keeping up with you. You have needed it. You deserve it. Enjoy it. Absolutely enjoy it. So what we're working on tonight, so that way you guys know what you're going to be catching in the replay, is this block right here from the Wyoming State Quilt Shop Hop. And it is designed to have the barbed wire fencing, the harvest moon, the wheat fields, the alfalfa, the pheasants, and the footprints. So it's going to be all of that. It's going to probably sit that direction in my quilt because everything else sits that direction in my quilt. But we are going to assemble it and see how it looks. And all of these are drunkard's paths. So that's what we're going to be working on. Laura says, "So glad to hear that, Laura. Sounds well deserved." I agree. It does sound well deserved. And then Laura's saying, "Have fun tonight." Thank you, Laura. We are going to try. We're going to try. All right. So for those of you who've never assembled a drunkard's path block before, let me grab. I need to make one of those design boards that everybody's walking around with. Let me get some fabrics that you guys can see. That way I am not showing you something that you're not going to be able to see on the camera. So this is against my mouse pad, so I do apologize. It's not the greatest color surface because it's all purple and galaxy, but you guys should be able to see these fabrics against it. Okay, So what I've done is I've cut out both of the templates. Now I have not tested any of these yet. These are directly from the templates. Chloe says, I can't wait to see this block come together. I love it. I know. That's kind of why I pulled this one. I'm loving this. Laura says, actually, I'll leave you playing so you get more watch hours. Yay! And she says she'll just have to turn the volume down. No worries, Laura. I completely understand. Alright, so in order to assemble a drunkard's path, if you've never done one before, I always press the center of my block. Now, the templates did come with little markings as to where the center is. And if you look closely, if I line up the center, even if these fabrics were completely flat right now, you're going to have overhang on the outside edges. And that is normal because you are piecing a curve, and that's how you do it. So what you're going to do, let me get my mouse pad out of the way. And I'm trying also not to touch my arm, you guys, but I'm not succeeding. So like I have like lotion all over my arm from accidentally touching my arm. So if you see me, guys, if you see me fidgeting with it tonight, that is why. That is why. I didn't get in as early as I planned for my tattoo. So it has not had as much time to settle as I was expecting to have. So yeah, we're going with it. Glenda, she says, hello Tammy, about missed you again. Oh, no worries, no worries. That's what replay is for. That is what replay is for. All right, so what you want to do with a drunkard's path is you want to pin through the center, and then because I'm going to start sewing at one of these corners, I'm not going to pin both of them. I'm just going to pin one. So you pin at the center, and then you also pin at the edge because you do want the edges to line up. And I have not done one of these in years, so you guys get to bear with me a little bit. So when you do a drunkard's path, you always put the rounded out shape, which is this shape right here, that's going to be in the center or the smaller piece. You always put that on bottom, because what you're going to be doing is you're going to be sewing this curved line, and you can, if you want, you can add additional pins in here and go ahead and stretch this to match if you want. I'm not going to do that. That's just not my technique, but you can do that. So I didn't pin this side because this is the side that's going to get started at the machine. But the other side is already pinned in place, and you're going to sew that 1/4 inch away. Now I always recommend when you do something like this, especially if you've got templates or something like that, always do a test. And I do have extra fabric. They did include enough fabric, so if I do, for whatever reason, have one of these that was not cut right, or you know, they gave me the templates being the wrong size or something like that, then I could go back and do another one to start it over. Thankfully, I don't think I'm going to need to do that on these. They look pretty much like what I'm expecting them to look like. But if you did run into that, or this is your first time ever doing a drunkard's path, then testing it with scrap fabric, or making sure you have plenty to redo it if it doesn't turn out right the first time or two, is not a bad way to go. So let's see, Glenda, what are you working on tonight? And Michelle, what are you working on tonight? I know you ladies seemed like you're going to stay up with me for a little bit. So when you're working on a drunkard's path, you do want to put, the reason that you put that curved side down, bear with me just a minute, you guys. I've got a distraction in the room. Please stop, sir. Thank you. Okay. Judy has joined the chat. Nancy has joined the chat. Welcome in, ladies. Welcome in. Thank you for joining the chat tonight. I'm glad you could make it. Glad you could make it. So when you're doing a drunkard's path, you put the side that's got the more fabric down towards the feed dogs. so that way the machine helps you guide that fabric in, and you don't end up with like a whole bunch of ripples or anything like that. And I don't know the exact terminology for it. My brain is fried today. My brain is absolutely fried, but it is Sunday. It is the end of this week. We are done with this week. And this upcoming week is actually easier, so that's good for me. Glenda says, may lose you storming here and done lost power one time. Oh no, Glenda. Well, if you do lose me, there is replay. There is definitely replay. If you decide, when you get power back on, you want to catch back up, you can do it that way. If I'm still on, you can still catch me as well. So either way, I am praying that you don't lose power, but if you do, we will be thinking about you. Michelle says that she's taking a break from sewing today, finished a quilt yesterday. Oh, wow. And then only 2 to go for Christmas. That's impressive. That's impressive, Michelle. All right, so here is one of the finished blocks. I'm going to turn this lamp down just a little bit. I do need to have it on a little bit because of the sunset. But so that is one finished block. And if you notice out here to the side, that it lines up. And it lines up here as well. When you go to press these, you do want to pull the seam allowance towards the smaller piece, and then that gives you your rounded seam. Chloe says, good night, falling asleep, was up early, we camped out and it poured. Oh no! And the tip did not keep the water out. Oh gosh, Chloe. Yeah, have a good evening, lady. Have a good evening. And she's saying, congrats, Michelle, great job. Yeah, I agree. You're going into August with only 2 Christmas projects left. That's not bad at all. All right, bear with me. The puppy dog has decided that tonight is the night to lick his paws. So we are going to have to keep correcting a little bit tonight. All right, so this book is now pressed, or this section is now pressed. So we only have 8 more to go. So I do have, my husband will be home soon, so I'm not going to stay on as late as I normally would tonight. We really have not, because of the hecticness and everything else this past week and a half and 2 weeks, we have not gotten to spend a lot of time together. So we may do a little bit of that tonight. So we're going to see how much of this I get done and then go from there. Michelle says they're lap-size quilts, so that helps big time. Yes, it does. Yes. The size of the quilt makes a lot of difference. I do not think that I don't think I have any quilts planned for Christmas this year. Oh, I did have one originally planned. But I think I'm going to change it into like a table topper or something like that. So it's not even going to be a full-size quilt. It's going to be something quite a bit smaller. I think I am done trying to do big deadlines. I do have a client quilt to get done by Christmas, but it's not exactly a Christmas present. Hired at work is not exactly a Christmas present for me. Chloe says, so much replay is turning out great. Thank you, Chloe. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, Helen is here. Welcome in, Helen. Glad you made it, sweetie. Glad you made it. I'm excited to see you here in the chat tonight. We are... Yeah, my tattoo. Yeah, okay. Sorry. I'm slightly distracted, guys. I promise. That just slightly. Finished my hug quilt. We'll post a picture tomorrow. Yes, please do, Judy. Please do. And that is a good reminder. Sew and Tell is coming up. We have how many weeks do we have? Let me grab my calendar real quick. It's on the computer screen, so that makes it easy. We have third Tuesday away from now is Sew and Tell. So we got 3 weeks to go, or 3 weeks of Tuesdays to go before we have Sew and Tell. I'm excited about Sew and Tell. Sew and Tell is a lot of fun. And there should not be any delays this time. So that's a good thing as well. Haven't started my Christmas sewing yet, says Helen. Oh no. Oh no. Well, if you win the Sew and Tell giveaway, then you would already have one of your Christmas presents sewn. So Intel giveaway for this upcoming October is a completed lap quilt that is completely quilted and ready to be loved. So I do need to probably put a label on it, I guess. I definitely have not done that. Not with that quilt anyway. So I probably do need to put a label on it, but it is quilted, already loved, and ready to find a new home. So that's why Sew and Tell this year, or this October, is going to be a pre-done quilt. I do have another project that I may, depending on timing, I may have a little bit of time to work on tonight. I am going to, okay, so in preparation for Cut and Chiseled, I'd post these 6, but unfortunately I can't because they could be see other recipients. Gotcha. Now you can post them in the group if the recipients are not in the group, and they won't be shown unless you say Sew and Tell. So that's up to you. If your recipients are in the group, I completely understand. And I wouldn't want you to accidentally share something you didn't mean to share. So you got 6 done and you got 2 more to go. Oh my goodness. So last year for Christmas, I gave my mom a quilt. So I guess this year for Christmas, I can't really give her another quilt. Can't give her too many quilts, you know? Can't spoil her too much. Let's see. Dad has not gotten a quilt in a while, but he's the hot-blooded person in the family, kind of like I am. And they still live in Alabama, so they really don't need a whole lot of cold weather stuff. So I don't know what I'm getting my parents for Christmas. And the youngest is not going to be getting a quilt until she graduates high school. So I've got a few years on that. I've got a lot of planning to go into that one. But I'm looking forward to making that one. I just don't know when I get to make it for. And she hasn't put a list in of what she's looking for yet. So gotta wait for the list to come through too. Because, you know, want to make it so that she's actually wanting to use it. Got to make it so that the kid wants to use it. Let's see. Yeah, I don't have any Christmas quilts planned, actually. I'm kind of shocked, you guys. You guys got me thinking. I don't have any Christmas quilts planned. I mean, I got Christmas quilts, but not, you know, Christmas gifts planned. And my husband just got a quilt. So he's not exactly on the Christmas quilt list. So I'm so glad to be done with that quilt. It is such a beast. Was such a beast. I'll put it that way. It was such a beast. So I do have my show quilt to quilt. That is Prismatic Star. For anybody who remembers Prismatic Star, when I was working on that and the umpteenth times I had to rip the sashing. Glenda says I used to make pot holders and dish towels for the holidays. Oh, that's a good idea. I'm trying to think of what we got. Well, he buys a lot of holiday stuff, so we probably already have all the linens. I could probably start making a quilt for next year's baseball raffle, or, you know, do it as something like that. Do an opportunity quilt or something like that. That would be kind of fun. I could see doing that. That might go on my list. I do have a baseball quilt that I saw somebody had made, and it's actually like a whole cloth quilt, so it's already printed panel or printed whatever, but I know how to make it, kind of. So I think I might do that too. So I do have a couple more quilts planned. I got quite a few quilts planned. We've got quilts planned for the next 3 years. Who's like me? Who has quilts planned for the next 4 or 5 years? Because I know I've got at least the next 3. And that's assuming that I keep up the pace that I'm currently at. Ah, Debt Free Quilter has joined the chat. Welcome in. Welcome, welcome. Saying, hey, hey. Thank you for joining the chat tonight. I greatly appreciate it. And if you will remind me what your name is, I will actually call you by your name instead of by your YouTube handle, if that's okay with you. If you want me to just call you Debt Free Quilter, I'll do that. But if you want me to call you by your name, just let me know what that is. And I tend to have a fairly good memory. I remember. Oh, Heather. Okay, Michelle has let the cat out of the bag. Well, welcome in, Heather. Glad you are here, lady. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, we are. This is, especially for everybody joining a little bit later, this is one of the blocks that I picked up from the Wyoming State Quilt Shop Hop. There are 24 participating shops across the state. I have been to, I think, 19 of them. Yay! Thank you, Heather. Appreciate it. So you basically gave me permission. Thank you. There's I think there's 24 shops, and I think I've been to 19 of them so far. And so this is the one from Torrington, Wyoming, which is in Goshen County. And they actually told a story with their block. Some of the shops have been kind of, you're reaching a destination. Oh, Pam's Handmade is here. Welcome in, Pam. Thank you. Cranky Baby Minion says hi, too. I love Minions. I love Minions. I'm a Minion fan. In case you guys did not know, I love Minions. I love gnomes, and I love Minions. I don't talk like the Minions, and I despise people who do because I can't physically do it. So it's not fair. But I do love Minions. I probably need to see the newest movies, too. I don't think I've seen the newest ones. I think isn't there one out now in theaters with Minions in it? You guys, I really don't watch a lot of movies. If you cannot tell, I am the worst when it comes to movie references. Now, if it's a movie I've seen more than once or twice, then, I'm going to catch the movie reference most of the time. But I don't watch a lot of movies, so I don't know them. He got a tooth in today, and oh no! Those little teeth, they hurt. They hurt so bad. I feel bad. I feel so bad. So the last teething creature, and I say it that way, the last teething creature in our household was my service dog. And you guys, I've been through teething humans multiple times. I had never been through a teething puppy until I had this guy. And I got him at 14 weeks. So he had the whole losing the baby teeth. I actually have some of his baby teeth, and I'm so proud of myself that I managed to get them. Despicable Me 4, oh goodness. Okay, yeah, I'm going to have to go see it. I really, really want to go see it. I'm not a huge movie person, so I don't go to the movies. July 4, okay, so we moved here in May of 2023, and I had not even been in a single movie theater here in the state of Wyoming until July 4th this year. We actually ended up running into a problem. We were watching the movie we chose to go see. The screen that they had it on, they didn't have it calibrated correctly, and there was things in different languages being said, and of course they put the captions on so that you can understand the other language and you can read it in English so you know what the storyline is. And the captions were half off the screen. The tops of people's heads were cut off. It wasn't calibrated right. And so we ended up leaving after an hour into the movie because we just couldn't understand it. And it's a 4-hour movie. Glenda says, I just sew for the fun of it now, but I used to sew clothes and make quilts for people, but I don't take orders no more. I don't blame you. I do not blame you. I am actually looking at if I have to start earning income because of my disability and things like that. Yeah, that's a whole other issue too that's going on. But if I have to start earning money, what jobs I would be able to do. And, somebody was like, well, you could go work, as a seamstress, and they're thinking alterations person. But they suggested seamstress. I said, well, the problem is the last time that I applied for a position like that, they didn't want to hire me because all of my experience was making clothes, not altering them. And so it's really hard to get a job sometimes, especially in the crafts industry, when you don't have verifiable proof of what you've been doing. So really the only job I could get right now in the crafts world would be a quilting job. But I really don't have a lot of experience quilting the quilts. I just have experience piecing. So that would be kind of the other challenge. Heather says, the last movie I saw in theaters was John Wick 4. I love that movie. I think I've seen that one. I think. That's the one where he walks away at the end. I think I've seen that one. A friend of mine does alterations, not my expertise. Yeah. I don't even know what Annabelle is, Michelle. I'm movie dumb. I fully admit it. So yeah, I can make clothes. I can take a pattern and make you an outfit out of that pattern. And I can do like minor adjustments. Like I can do minor things. Well, Michelle, we were the only people in the theater. She said, I can't see paying to go to see a movie and be surrounded by people. Yeah, we were the only people in the theater. I mean, I'm good with like small crowds. And I'm okay with a bigger crowd. As long as they're respectful of the movie and they're not like talking through it, I'm good. I went to one movie theater and then Creepy Haunted Doll movie. Oh yeah, no, you wouldn't see me in that movie no matter what, Michelle. I'm not a haunted movie person. I can't do it. But yeah, I can do. I don't really like hemming pants. I don't like letting them out, taking them in. I don't like doing that kind of thing. It's not something I enjoy. I know the basics of how to do it because I know, clothing construction. I don't really want to design clothes either. So like, I don't want to do couture or anything like that. So if I do anything in the craft world, I really just need to be a quilting teacher, but I don't know that I can make enough money doing that. So I don't know how I would translate my experience into something other than pattern designing, which I can do. But I would have to transition from all the projects I'm doing to only doing projects that I'm issuing patterns out for. Which it's kind of a hard transition to make because, I've got so many projects on my plate. I've got so many things going on, so many irons in the fire that really to swap to just pattern making at this point. I mean, I could do it, but I wouldn't be able to test any of my patterns. I would have to, either hire that out or just rely that, I did a good job. And I'm not sure if I'm ready for that. So we will see what my future holds. We will see. I will have some consultations coming up here soon to give me kind of more insight in what I need to do or not do. So we shall see. We shall see, we shall see, we shall see. So, and I will give you guys a hint, because I'm not showing you guys in detail the tattoo, because it's got a lot of healing to go. Yeah, it's got a lot of healing to go. It's fresh, very fresh. But you guys brought up a good point the other day. Does my tattoo have anything sewing or quilting related? And we did a last minute alteration to the tattoo. So it does. It actually does. Helen says I've done alterations before and clothes and other things like pot holders, etc., but don't always feel good, so might do small items now. Yeah, I mean, I make angel gowns. Judy says I can do it, but refuse to do it. There you go. I only sew for family and will do quilts for people who are willing to pay my price. Yeah, and that's kind of where I'm at. I don't really want to turn putting quilts together into a job as much, because I want to be able to still enjoy my time with the machine, enjoy my time with the fabric. I would rather, and this is going to sound weird to some people I know, probably not to you guys. But if I say this to the general public, they look at me funny. I would rather make a quilt that you end up wanting to buy than to take your orders on what you want and hope it turns out the way you asked. You know, I would rather do something that I enjoy doing, and then you want to buy it off of me? Okay. I'll sell that one, or I'll sell this one. You know, I'd rather do that kind of thing where I decide what I'm willing to sell after I've made it than to intentionally only take orders. I mean, I've got a client right now, and I actually had a big hand in designing the quilt that I'm going to be making, or the two quilts I'm going to be making. And obviously they have chosen all of the colors, but, you know, it's not going to be hideous. It's not, you know, it's not going to be anything that I don't want to make. But as, you know, as a general rule, I really don't want to start taking on everybody else's ideas. I kind of want to go with my ideas and see who wants to buy them. Helen says I only do family now also, Judy. Yeah. I mean, I've got a couple of things clothing wise that I'm going to make for myself. But I'm not making for the general public. I just don't have the patience to do it, I don't think. I mean, I enjoy fabrics. I enjoy all kinds of fabrics. I would love to do like heirloom sewing. Like, I would love to make heirloom gowns, and, you know, I'll make them like a certain size or something, and then people buy them, like a christening gown or something like that. I would love to do things like that, but I'm not sure the market would support my pricing. And that would kind of be the other thing is, you know, I'd basically have to make it and then have to find a buyer. And I'd rather make something I really enjoy doing the most and find a buyer than to make something I'm not sure if anybody's going to buy and then just have to hope and pray. Because hoping and praying works great for a little while, but it doesn't work great for long term. I need to be sure, if I'm going to go that route, that I have a steady option. So that is on my table for my thoughts and my processes. It's nothing in the works yet, but it is in my thoughts and processes, you guys. So I know, like, Tiffany from Tiffany's Quilting Life, I know she does auctions on her channel of quilts, and I could see myself doing something like that. But again, it's going to be things that I put together because I want to put them together, and then offer them up for sale, I think is the best way that I would end up doing it. Because I just don't know if I would do it any other way. And with getting my major projects off my plate, the majority of everything I could do from here on out could be something along those lines now. So, like, you know, if I wanted to, like, sell off sparkle after I make it, you know, provided my husband doesn't want to keep it, you know, I could do that. Judy says I met with 2 clients and gave them my price. They're supposed to get with me by the end of August if they want them by Christmas. Fair enough. Absolutely fair enough. Now, I will say this. I take on some of the odd projects. The client quilt that I'm going to be doing is going to be 152 inches, I believe. approximately 152 inches by 38. So it's going to be very narrow and very long. And then there's going to be a 76-inch version, but it's also going to be by 38. So they're designed to go over the railing of the client's home, so that they are able to close in their floor plan a little bit. And it was my choice that I want to get them done by Christmas because I want my client to be able to enjoy them and be able to show them off. And what better time than Christmas, right? So that was kind of my idea with that. But yeah, so I've got a couple in the works. And so we're going to just see how those come out. And see how the overall process goes and get the plan together to do them. Yeah, I'm not keen on taking a whole lot of client quilts. I think it would be a case-by-case basis because I've got to be able to enjoy the process. And there's a lot of quilts out there, quilt requests out there that I don't think I would enjoy. So I think I want to do things that I enjoy so my clients can get a better quality product. Because if I'm not enjoying it, I'm not going to necessarily put my heart and soul into it. And I'd rather put heart and soul into whatever I make. That's my thought process. Alright, I think I've got all of these sewn. So we are going to needle up. And we're going to clip them apart and we're going to check them. We are going to see... Yeah, I've only got the one client right now. But I'm looking forward to starting their quilts. We went and picked out fabric, so I've already seen what they're looking for, fabric-wise. And they're even taking some of the work off my plate. They are a fantastic person to have pressing fabric. And so they're going to go ahead and treat the fabric the way that I requested them to treat the fabric. So I don't have to wash and press the fabric. They're going to do all of that for me. I'm so excited. Oh, you know what, guys? Did I press that the wrong direction? Would it make more sense to press it the other direction? I don't know. So this one's like wanting to automatically go to the outside instead of going to the inside. So I'm going to try pressing this one this way and see what I get. I got pictures of my finished quilts, and usually we'll have a message or they get in touch with me if they want to buy it. Yeah, I think that's what I might end up doing. Is like I'll just start, any quilts that I do not have an intention of I have to keep, will go onto a list and get listed. I think is what's going to happen. And I guess I should have starched these before I started doing this, you guys. Alright, so my seams are going either in or out. It doesn't look like it is going to matter. So, gotta love Drunker's Paths. Alright. So I'm going to show you the difference. Okay, so this one is pressed with the seam towards the orange. And this one is pressed with the seam towards the blue, the sky. So it really isn't going to matter. And none of these are starched. So it's not really going to matter. So I can do that, and then when I go to sew these together, they will nest quite nicely. But I did not plan that, so I'm not necessarily going to plan it for all the rest of them. So we're just going to go with whichever direction it wants to go for that particular block. That's just what we're going to go with. Because that's how we're going to roll today. I am just in that kind of mood that we are going to roll with the flow of everything else. Alright. And so this one was actually fussy cut. They wanted to showcase the pheasants. So I made sure to fussy cut this pheasant. And that was the only one that I could get that was going to be anywhere close to being where I wanted it to be. So you'll have to pardon that the pheasant body is all the way to the bottom. Ah, Sean is here. He says good day. Good day to you, Sean. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for stopping in. So I am going to be over on Sean's channel. For those who do not know, I'm going to be over there on August 3rd, and I am incredibly happy about it. Looking forward to it. So you're going to have to be ready for all of my excitement and enthusiasm, Sean. And you are not allowed to ask me all of the Australian words because I am so far behind. I have no idea which all ones you've asked, and I think I would probably lose out this time. All right, let's see. Got one more of that one to do. And I think all these others are going to need to be pressed the same direction because they're going to, well, I don't think they're going to matter. We're going to see. We are going to see. And I think some of these have stretched a little too. So I don't know if I'm going to need to square them up. I'm hoping not. And we're going to go with, we're not going to press it. We're not going to start, we're not going to square them up. They should be pretty darn close to all the same size. So that's what we're going to work with. We're going to work with that intention. Because this isn't after Sunset Sunday. This is supposed to be easy sewing time. This is not going to be, stressful sewing time. So I'm not going to let it. I love it. Okay, I'll come up with a U.S. quiz for you, says Sean. Oh, goodness. Goodness gracious. Okay, you're not allowed to ask me which presidents did which policies. I am not a political science major. That is one thing you are not allowed to ask me. There's a lot of things you can ask me. That is not it. All right, I'm just going to lay these out so I know which blocks are going where. And I actually am done with my pins, so I'm going to put them out of the way. And this is a fairly big block, you guys. So it is 9 Drunkard's Path blocks all put together. All right, so I don't know how well you can see that on the camera over here. So we're going to move it down just a hair. And yeah, some of these really stretched more than others. So we are just going to put them together and hope for the best. That's what we are doing today. Yeah, no political questions. Yeah, no political questions. I am not that person. All right, I got one here. That's the one I'm going to do. Because I'm trying to nest the seams on these. Just on these outside. The red harvest sun pictures. It's not a harvest moon, it is a harvest sun. I know next to nothing about that, nor am I interested in that. Oh, I could ask you Wyoming questions. I could get you, Sean. Of course, you now have a heads up and have time to study. I could ask you all kinds of questions about Wyoming. That would be fun. Let's see what you know about the least populated state in the United States. See if you can get any of them right. We'll just keep a tally and see who gets the better of the questions, right? And I do have a live that day. So I'm going to be up early for your live and being on it. I love it, Heather. She says, bah, politics. They have no place in quilting. Well, they do if you're running for a position as a leader in a quilting community, but that's the only place. There is a place for them, but that is the place for politics and quilting. I know they have about 12 people there. Oh, we got more than 12. There's about 20 in one of my quilting groups. So there's enough people to live here, I promise. Oh, you're so funny. So funny. All right, we are going to see how bad these stretched in just a minute. I really should have pre-starched it, but of course it was not in the directions to pre-starch everything. So me not having done a Drunkard's Path in a really long time, I did not think through that. And yeah, so my fabric stretched. Yeah, we got more than 12 dogs that live here. I can assure you that. So we got to have more than 12 people. uh yeah, I am actually in the second most populated city in the state of Wyoming. The most populated state is our state capital, which is Cheyenne. So you now have had your first lesson on Wyoming. So I've got some fun questions I could ask. That's what I get for being new to Wyoming too. Is I get to learn right along with you. And I'm super excited about learning about Wyoming, so yeah. I've been asking my nephew off and on all week about politics because I know nothing about it. Yeah, I don't have to ask anybody. So, you guys, my husband and my dad talk. Like, they talk. I don't have to call and ask how my mom or my dad are doing. I just have to ask my husband how they're doing because he talks to them a lot. Like, they have an awesome relationship. It's really cool. But, so my dad and my husband, one of their topics to talk about is politics. They both have similar views, so it's not, a stretch of the imagination or anything like that. They're not arguing about it. They both agree with each other on the same topics. But, yeah, I don't have to ask either one of them about politics because the moment my dad gets on the phone, that is one of the topics. Just remember that you have to know the answers before you quiz someone. Oh, come on, Heather. Taking the fun out of it. Really? Really? We're supposed to both Google it at the same time. Live. No, I'm just kidding. Oh, no. I will know the answers. I will have all the answers in front of me. Ooh, I could ask you baseball questions, Sean. You're not a baseball fan, are you? Because then I could ask you baseball questions and get away with anything. Oh, my husband would probably, be a little miffed at me for asking baseball questions. Because I'd have to ask him all the questions so he'd give me all the answers. Is that bad? That's probably bad, isn't it? I shouldn't do that. I should just look them up myself. Look up all the good questions myself. Oh, I think my husband would die if I started asking people baseball questions, though. He'd probably just go, "Why are you in my sport?" Well, because I enjoy it too. I'm allowed, right? Right? Nobody's allowed to tell him I said that, okay? You're not allowed to tell the husband. All right. All right, one more seam, and we will done. Yes, ma'am. Love me some. Went to Louisville Slugger Museum last week. I even got to hold a game used bat by Babe Ruth. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Okay, so we might do baseball questions and see who can stump. Well, no, you're probably gonna be able to stump me then. You can probably stump me. I'd probably have to get my husband on the chat. I agree, Heather. She says, "Wow, that's cool, Sean. You can quiz me about baseball and I'll ask about cricket and rugby." Oh, no. I know nothing about cricket or rugby. Other than they don't use the same ball. I know nothing about rugby. Nothing. The only sport I know enough about, other than possibly football, like college football, don't ask me NFL questions. Couldn't do it. Could not do it. And I know that's it's American football. But I could answer some American football questions, and I could answer baseball questions, and that's probably about it. Oh, now I know why one of those fabrics stretched. I don't know a lot much about baseball before the early 2000s. I'm just kidding about the cricket and rugby. Yeah, you'd have to be, because, I would know nothing. All right, let me press these last seams, you guys. And this block will be done. I think I am going to starch it, so you guys will have an extra minute or two of me starching. Just because I want it to stay kind of flat. It is all stretched out. But I know why. I know why it's stretched. So the pheasant was fussy cut. And the barbed wire was also fussy cut. They wanted you to turn the template to be able to cut to get the design, which also means that, you know, you're not cutting the straight lines with the straight of grain. So it makes it a little bit more difficult, not impossible, just a little bit more difficult. All right. Yay, starch is going down. And typically you want to starch before you do this. And if I'd been thinking about the way the template's laid, I would have done that. Bed is calling my name. Off to work tomorrow. Yes, Sean, absolutely. Well, thank you for coming to hang out. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Make sure to hit that thumbs up, please. Yeah, y'all can hit the thumbs up or the thumbs down. Doesn't matter which one. Just make sure you hit one of them for me. That helps YouTube know that you guys are willing to interact with me, even on some kind of level. All right, so he left just in time. This is the block, you guys. Did that not come out so adorable? Let's see, I've been pretty much isolated for the 13 years, so I don't know much of nothing and no TV, just my, or radio, just my computer. Oh my goodness. Oh, you did on the way in. Okay, and you're still here long enough to see the block. Darn it. I can't surprise you with it later. All right, so there's the sun. So the barbed wire. And then the footpath. That's what those are. Those are footprints. And then we have the wheat and alfalfa. And we have the pheasant. So this is for Goshen County, Wyoming. This is from the store in Torrington, Wyoming. And so this should finish at 12 inches in the quilt. I was excited to put this one together. I was super excited for that one. Okay, so we got a few minutes. I am still waiting for some stuffs. So let me see what I got, and we will see what I need to do. I'm gonna set this out of the way. Sean says love it. Thank you, Sean. Appreciate it. All right, so when I did cut and chiseled, I did a sample. Sorry, you guys, hang on. Okay, sorry about that, you guys. We have husband coming home, and so Paladin's got to bark at him and make sure that everybody knows that somebody just showed up. All right, so when I did cut and chiseled, I did 4 patch of blocks. So we are going to make a backing for this. So that's what we're going to do. Glenda says, beautiful, Tammy, thank you. Michelle says, it is so pretty, thank you. Let's see, Heather was saying beautiful as well. Thank you. All right, so I have some leftover strips from when I was cutting those fat quarters. Another country heard from. Another country heard from. Oh, yeah, it's heard from another country. Yeah. He's got a bark that will carry. Oh, that's right, Helen. That's right. I do remember that. I didn't remember it until you just said that, but I do remember that. She says that she met me on Sean's channel. And I do remember. I remember names really, really well. He's doing a good job of letting us know, Silly Pup. Yes. Oh, yeah. Yeah, the dog being heard from another country. Yes. He is nothing if not persistent. So I do have a funny story. And my husband didn't quite think it was funny, but you guys will. I know I sure did. And that's what matters, is me thinking it's funny. So my husband was mad at my dog. I did not ask my husband to take the dog out. However, he decided he was going to be nice and sweet and take the dog out for me, which is great. That's fine. I don't mind. He's allowed to. No big deal. Well, lately, my dog has been playing a game. He has been playing the let's run off and do our own thing game instead of doing our business. So we go outside. We either are going out to go play or we're going out for business. And we live in an apartment complex, so we kind of have a little bit more structure to our playtime here. It is not just, go out and hang out and that's playtime. It is go out, do business, and then get in the car to go somewhere to go have playtime. Because then we can be off leash. We can find a place that's allowed to be off leash, all of that. But my dog has been deciding to do the other things that he's not supposed to do and just run off and play hard to get. Which is, I've been dealing with it. It's been fine. And, I know how to get a hold of my dog. And normally my husband does. Well, the other morning, my husband was very, very upset with my dog because he had run off and he hadn't done his business. So they get in the elevator together and he doesn't put the dog on the leash. Normally, at least in the building, we don't need this dog on the leash. He is very loyal, especially when he's in the building or the building area. He doesn't run off. It's just when he's out where there's an open field and other dog smells, that's when you have to kind of watch him a little bit closer. So they get in the elevator and we live on 3rd floor. So they ride the elevator up together. Well, he knows my husband's mad at him. My husband gets off on 3rd floor, starts walking down the hall, goes to look behind him to find where the dog is. The dog is still sitting in the elevator and the elevator door closes. My dog got to ride all the way back down to 1st floor and then ride all the way back up to 3rd floor. And then the doors opened on 3rd floor and there's my dog sitting in the elevator. So my dog took an unaccompanied elevator ride the other day. Much to my husband's dismay. So, we are responsible dog parents, you guys. I promise. We are very responsible. We don't leave him unattended. I mean, he's my service dog. He's almost always with me. The only times he's not with me is when the husband is taking him out or, I have to leave him because I am going to be doing something that I'm not going to be able to watch him while I'm doing, like fixing something on the car or something like that. Heather's laughing at the story. Yes. He's never taken an unaccompanied elevator ride until the other morning. When my husband was not expecting him to do so. Alright, so I'm going to press these seams open. And these are just 2.5-inch strips left over from cutting the chisels and getting all this, cut apart. So all I'm going to do is just sew this together and then see what other fabric I need. And we're just going to piece some extra fabric to it to make a pieced backing for it. I have been sitting with this panel or this table topper size piece since before we started cut and chiseled back in May. So it's been sitting for a little bit. So it is 2 blocks wide. And I don't know how long these strips are. Okay, so that is not long enough. So if I combine that, that would be long enough to go across the whole thing. Yep, that one is long enough. Let's see, is that one? That one is definitely long enough. And so these may go somewhere else. Okay. Yep, I'm just thinking through, you guys. Glenda's got it too. Yeah, my dog, out of all the stunts to pull, taking an unaccompanied elevator ride. And when he got into the apartment, he was coming to run to hide behind me because he's like, Dad's mad at me, Mom. I didn't do what I was supposed to do. Dad's mad at me. So he's hiding behind me. Like I'm going to save him. But it was still kind of funny. but still very, very funny. All right, let's see what we got. And I do have more blue fabric, so that's what we're going to be putting the rest of the backing with, is we're going to piece it with blue. And so what I've done is I have pieced, and these are the bears. That's what these are. These are bears. You know what? I can turn this off now. We have had sunset now. Okay. It is officially after sunset. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this one long strip that's got bears in blue, and then the piece strip with bears in red, and we're going to sew those together. And this is kind of, again, what is called poverty piecing, when you are just taking what you have left over and putting it to good use. You can do poverty piecing to make a lot of different things. If you've never done a bag, if you've never made your own fabric for a bag or something, poverty piecing is a fantastic way to use up a lot of little scraps and have a very elegant bag by the time you are done. I actually just recently met a couple of new quilters, or new to me quilters, and one of them, she hand quilts everything. I was like, oh my gosh, more power to you. Because obviously I don't hand quilt. But she did. She's taken a lot of her scraps and made like a crazy quilt pattern, and she hand quilted it, and it looks fantastic. I'm kind of jealous, to be honest, just because I don't have the patience for hand quilting. But I'm not going to knock her being able to do it. I'm just jealous that I can't. Just jealous. All right. All right, one long strip, two-sided. So now I'm just going to press that open, I think. Yeah, I'm going to press it open. Because I'm going to have to quilt through it. It's not going to take very long to quilt. That's going to be one of the nice things. Is this will not be, I mean, because it's just a table topper, I can play around with some quilting ideas and test out something new that I haven't done before. And this is kind of the perfect, size to be able to test things out. So, let's see. Let me grab that. It's not wanting to lay flat, you guys. Pam says, I love Scrappy. The more pieces, the better. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So that, the super secret that is the Quilt of Valor that I made for my husband, the flag panel, if you want little bitty pieces, or the more pieces, that flag panel has 4,800 squares in it. Would an 8-inch border for top and bottom of the quilt be too wide? I want it to be longer and never went that wide. It depends on the overall look of the quilt. I have done, I'm trying to think of how big the tumbling blocks one is. I think that one is like 7.5. So it really it depends on the quilt. I've seen some queen size quilts where like the center is center is whatever it is, and then they add 8-inch borders on all 4 sides to add that extra drape. So it just kind of depends on the layout of your quilt and what look you're trying to achieve. I wouldn't say 8 inches is too big. Now, the one thing that you do have to consider with your borders is how you're going to be quilting the quilt because of your batting. So your batting choice is going to make a difference on what you can quilt, and you've got to decide whether you feel comfortable doing all that quilting in the border. Helen says, I don't think so. I've put wide top and bottom borders on before and don't have an issue with it. Yeah. See the tumbling blocks quilt that I made, the one that's in the header, or in the pictures and all of that, I put a very distinctly larger top and bottom borders than I did on the side borders. The side borders are very narrow comparatively, solely because there's just no way for me to make it longer without doing that. Like, in order to make it long enough, I had to. So that is just, it is up to you and, you know, what your finished look is going to be. Like, what's important to you with it. If it is just the size that's important, I wouldn't worry about the, you know, borders being that big. I mean, like I said, the only thing that I would be concerned about with the borders being that big is what your quilting plan is for it. Because your quilting plan may have to adjust a little bit to accommodate, you know, how you are going to quilt it based off the borders. But if you don't already have a plan for quilting it, you probably have a lot more room to wiggle around with it. Alright, so let's see what I've got size-wise. I'm going to back up from the camera just a little bit so I can lay this across my lap. And we are going to compare sizes because I don't know that I have enough fabric with just this blue, because the blue is going to give me the bottom, because I can put these together and that will give me the bottom, but then I got the strip and I don't have enough of that. Let me see what else I have, because I don't have any of that red anymore, but I do still have the bears. Okay. So we're going to pull out a couple fat quarters of the bears, and I will just have some scraps cut off. That's what we're going to go with. And that's kind of one of the good things when you put something like a scrap piece together, or you put a test piece, because then you have, you know, room to work with things. Judy says I made a quilt and it's too big with the borders on, so I'm thinking of removing the borders. Ah, that works too. Now, if you need the, like, if your eyes need the place to rest with the borders, Judy, you can always, if you don't want to cut the borders completely off, you can cut them like in half, to kind of lessen how much of an impact they're making. All right, I'm pulling off a third piece because the piece that I just pulled off actually has a cut in it. So actually, somehow I managed to cut like a triangle piece off of this one. So it's going back on the roll. I don't need that much extra. So it can go back on and hang out until the next time that I need something. Judy says, thank you. I will probably do straight lines as it's all I can do. Okay, well that works well. The nice thing with doing straight lines is it really doesn't matter how big your borders are. So that's perfect. You know, like, the quilt design that I quilted on my husband's quilt, the Quilt of Valor, because you guys will get to see more pictures of it soon, I promise. I just haven't had a chance to do any of the extra pictures. And we'll have to do them before State Fair anyway, because I want them. What was I going to say? Okay, so the design I did for that is an all-over quilting design, but I did it on a digitally powered long arm, so I didn't have to manually control it. I don't think I could have done it if I tried to manually control it. And that meant that it didn't matter, borders or filler or whatever. Straight lines is another good one that it doesn't matter, so that's perfect. That is perfect. Alright, so I'm going to piece these two fat quarters together, the bears ones. And then we're going to piece the two fat quarters of the blue together. I'm going to have to press them too. Just enough to get them. I mean, I'm going to press these again when I go to sandwich them, before I sandwich them, so that we can have a flat backing. And then I will get them get this quilted up. I'm not going to quilt it tonight. I don't have that much time and energy on my hands. But I'm at least going to get it started. Let's see. Alright. Here's the bears ones. Let me get these pressed open a little bit so I get some of the major creases out. And that's kind of why I, chose some of these fabrics, like this blue and the bears, is because I knew I had plenty to fix it all. Helen says, gotta go. Good night, all. Well, thank you for hanging out, Helen. I appreciate it, sweetie. Thank you for hanging out. Sleep well. Sleep well. I knew, in the summer or Sunday nights, might not last as long, but that's okay. Everybody's been doing a lot this summer, and especially on Sundays, everybody's got to work in the morning, so that makes it more challenging. And my seams are not straight, or the cuts are not straight on these fat quarters, but I'm not going to worry about it. We are just going to work with what we have and not let the rest of it stress us out. Today is not a stress day. And that's my story, and I'm going to stick to it. All right. So, there's my 2 pens from my glue. So I can put the rest of the blue back on the card. A little bit of blue that I've got left. It's not a full fat quarter, but that's okay. I could just leave it off and put it in my scraps so I can cut, 10-inch squares or whatever out of it. I just haven't decided yet what I want to do. All right. Here we go. And I got this slipping out of my lap here. All right, so I'm going to press these seams open as well. So that's what I'm going to do real quick off screen or off camera. I really do enjoy these Sunday nights, you guys. They're really a great time to kind of reset and relax. And, they're low stress. We're not trying to hurry up and get to something else. We're not trying to finish this so we can do 30 other projects. This is just kind of a wind down time for the weekend. And so I really have kind of fallen in love with this. Oh, you're very welcome, Glenda. You're very welcome. We're just glad to have you hanging out with us. It really does mean a lot to me, you guys, that you guys are here, that you guys are hanging out. I know you have a lot of other things you could do or places you could be, especially this late on a Sunday night. And I know a lot of you are in, time zones where it's even later than it is here in Wyoming. But I really do appreciate you guys hanging out with me. And, it's not necessarily about what we accomplish. It's just about, spending some time accomplishing something and feeling like something managed to stick. You guys helped me out. We did the prep for Quilt Wyoming, where I asked you guys for help trying to figure out what my 4-leaf clover should look like. And you guys did a fantastic job helping me out. That really came out amazing. So that's going to end up being on a Tuesday night. I'm going to show you guys that floor quilt. It is actually in my kitchen right now. So I'll get to show you guys that. And then, just this downtime has been amazing. Getting to spend time with fabric and thread and friends. You can't beat it, right? You just can't beat it. So. And I'm not worried if my seams are super straight on this all the way across, because it will all kind of iron out in the wash. It is just a small little table topper. It's not anything super fancy. This would be great for like 4th of July and Veterans Day and things like that, because it's kind of patriotic with the red, the white, the blue, and the bears are both The bears are all wearing red and blue, and then there's red stars all over the place. So it does kind of look patriotic, which makes it kind of sweet as well. Alright, so I got one more seam to sew. And then we will do a last press, and then we will probably be done for the night. I know it's not been a very long night tonight, but this is a lot to accomplish. We got a very detailed block done for the Wyoming State Quilt Shop Hop, and we are getting a backing put together for a table topper. So, I'm not disappointed at all. Not disappointed at all. So, for Tuesday, I will probably have the floor quilt to show. I'll bring it out of the kitchen so you guys can see it. Clean all the dog food off of it from where the dog drops his food on every mat that is available in the house. And let's see, what else do I have? Oh, I know. Tuesday night, I'm going to be going over what you guys need for doing the Jelly Roll Friendly project. And you guys can do it directly from Jelly Roll, or you can do it from... Thank you, Heather. Appreciate it. Yeah, it's not too shabby. You're right. It is not too shabby at all. So the Jelly Roll Friendly project is going to be probably Friday and Saturday. I'm not sure if we're going to go all the way through the weekend into Sunday. I am not going to be functional to do anything on Thursday, so I can't start the project on Thursday. I do have my next infusion on Thursday. And while I'm sometimes very functional after my infusions, I never make the assumption that I will be. So Thursday we will be taking the day off, so we won't be doing the project then. But we will be starting the project Friday. So I will have all the measurements of what you guys need for what size quilt you want to make. And I'll have all the information, like supply lists and all of that for you by Tuesday night. And I'll get to show you guys some of what we're going to be doing. Like, I'm not going to show you all the steps or anything, but I'll show you what you guys need to do to prep and be ready. I'm so excited. I did my cut and prep earlier. I'm going to be making a wall hanging out of mine. It is not going to be a lap quilt or throw or anything like that. It's going to be a wall hanging. But I'm super excited. I love my colors. I think you guys will like my colors too. I think you guys will think it's fantastic. It's a great show. You know, the colors that I've got are great showpiece colors. So you guys will get to see that. And then we're going to go over, you know, what everything's going to come out. And, you know, all of that. I will have it all ready, I promise. I've got much more time to do math now. I spent today cleaning my studio, so all of my extra stuff is put away. I don't have piles of things anywhere. It is amazing what a clean workspace can do for you. It is absolutely amazing. So, yeah. So I'm going to show you guys what this looks like here in just a minute. We're going to make sure it's going to be big enough. But I think it will be. I don't think I'll run into any problems. And then we will call it quits for the night. So I know it's not a long night like what we're used to. But I think it'll be alright. I think it'll be alright. So just a little bit more pressing. And a little bit more lotion on my shirt. I just ran my arm into my shirt again. This time it's into the body of my shirt instead of like into the arm. I will put less lotion on my arm for later, so it won't keep sticking into everything. I just needed to put an extra layer on this time. Alright, so let me grab this. Let me get you guys off of this camera that I just moved out of the way. There we go. Alright, so this way you guys can see the whole thing. Alright, so this is the top Okay, so there's 4 blocks that have 3 chisels each. Okay. And this is going to be our backing. So we're going to have the bears. I'm sorry, I'm hitting the microphone, you guys. I'm sorry. So we're going to have the bears. We're going to have a little bit of blue stripe. Then we're going to have a little bit of red stripe. And then we're going to have blue. So that is going to be the backing for this table topper. And just to confirm my sizing, and I may line this up so this is equal on either side. Thank you, Heather. She says very nice. Thank you. So I'm going to line it up in the center. And oh yeah, we got lots of overhang. We got plenty of room. So if you guys can see off to the, let's see off to this side, got a whole bunch of overhang. Got a whole bunch of overhang over here. I got a little bit of overhang here at the strips. And I got a little bit of overhang here at the bottom on the strips as well. So yeah, we got plenty of overhang. So our backing is plenty large enough. And I can get that off the half-finished project list. Alright, so I think that is going to be it for tonight. Because everything else, I have to pull out stuff I can't show you guys yet. So we're not going to do that. But I will see you guys Tuesday night, 6 p.m. Mountain Time. And we are going to get going with the supply list for the Jelly Roll Friendly project. Glenda says very pretty, thank you. So if you have not seen any of my projects before, if you've not seen any of my free patterns before, what I do is the free pattern information, I issue you a supply list before we get going. The supply list is a verbal supply list, so you guys do have to tune in on a Tuesday to get the supply list. So that is this upcoming Tuesday. I will have the supply list of what you will need for the Jelly Roll Friendly project. And I will give you options. So the project is completed with 3-inch strips as well as 2.5-inch strips. However, if all you have is 2.5-inch strips, I am going to issue you an alternate size so you can pick and choose how you want to do it. Judy says, see you Tuesday. I made it to the end of your live. Yes, you did, Judy. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So Tuesday we will have the supply list for the Jelly Roll Friendly project. I will also give you guys the name of the project on Tuesday. And then Friday, Saturday, and possibly Sunday this weekend, we will be doing the assembly on the Jelly Roll Friendly project. They will not be during my Saturday morning live or my Sunday evening live. So those lives will still be kind of normal format, so that way all of the project lives are separate. And then once I've done the last video for the project, I will issue a printable sheet for you to use when you go back to start the project and go through and walk step by step through. So the printable sheet is not a full pattern. It is instructions for you to follow along and for you to be able to complete the project using my videos. So it is designed to go hand in hand. But I will issue the supply list Tuesday and more instructions so you guys can get ready and be ready to sew on Friday with me. And I will also let you guys know what the times of the lives are going to be for Friday, Saturday, and possibly Sunday. So that way you guys are prepared for that. So thank you for hanging out tonight. I appreciate you guys being here for a Sunday after sunset. And I will see you guys Tuesday. Thank you.